To those who say, I can't vote for Joe Biden, he's too old, what do you say?
I say his age is an asset.
Joe and Jill Biden have been together for over 40 years, but their marriage isn't the first for either of them. Joe's first wife tragically died in a car accident in 1972, along with their daughter, while Jill divorced her first husband, Bill Stevenson, whom she married at just 18. Jill has undergone quite a transformation since then, although she has never sought the spotlight, even as the First Lady. From showing leadership at a young age to her lifelong dedication to teaching, let's take a look at the drastic transformation of Jill Biden. Jill Biden had a somewhat rebellious childhood. Jill Biden's childhood was a happy one, marked by a bit of wildness and a self-proclaimed rebellious streak. In her younger years, she often snuck out of the house in the middle of the night. Unable to afford a membership at a popular local swim club, Jill and her friend would climb the fence for midnight swims on summer nights. Reflecting on this, she later told the Philadelphia Inquirer, "I can't even believe that I did it," adding that it was a long, long time before she confessed her youthful escapades to her mother. Though Jill admits she was kind of rebellious, she never caused any real harm. Her brand of rebellion was quite innocent. For example, she loved to pull pranks as a child and would sneak out of school to eat at a nearby hoagie shop. She showed leadership skills from a young age. Young Jill Biden was a bit of a rebel, but she was also a natural leader who always looked out for her loved ones. As the oldest of 5 girls, she established herself as their protector early on. When a neighborhood bully wouldn't leave her younger sister alone, Jill confronted him at his house and punched him in the face, earning her father's respect. Her sister Bonnie Jacobs told the Philadelphia Inquirer that Jill was not just a leader but also a role model. "She took care of me," she said, adding that she watched everything her older sister did. Jacobs mentioned that it's easy to imagine Jill as First Lady, calling it a natural transition, and noting, "The 4 of us are amazed like, gee, our sister could be First Lady." Liz Leonard, Jill's high school friend and classmate, recalled that Jill was a leader on campus, popular, and quite involved in various activities. "She was always willing to help with our whole class," said Leonard. "She started working at the age of 15. Jill Biden's strong work ethic and commitment to her career were evident from a young age. She got her first job at just 15 years old, a decision driven by her desire for independence. "From an early age, I knew I wanted my own money, my own identity, and my own career," she told Vogue. During her teenage years, Jill held several after-school jobs. She spent 2 summers working at Chris's seafood restaurant in Ocean City, New Jersey. "I loved it," she recalled in an interview with New Jersey Monthly. In addition to her various jobs, Jill also did some modeling for a local agency. Despite this experience, she never considered herself a model, noting to Vogue that she only did a few small jobs where you get paid like $20. Her first marriage ended in divorce. It's hard to imagine Jill Biden with anyone other than Joe, but the president is actually her second husband. At just 18 years old, Jill married Bill Stevenson, a football player at the University of Delaware. Their marriage lasted only 5 years, ending in a bitter divorce that left Jill feeling skeptical about love. In her 2019 memoir, Where the Light Enters, Building a Family, Discovering Myself, she wrote, "I let go of fairy tale endings." The divorce was far from amicable. Decades later, Stevenson claimed in an interview with the Daily Mail that the marriage ended because Jill was having an affair with Joe Biden. However, according to the Bidens, this story is false. They maintain that they did not meet until 1975, after Jill and Stevenson had separated and their divorce was nearly finalized. She met her future husband, Joe Biden, on a blind date. Jill Biden would go on to meet Joe Biden on a blind date 3 years after tragedy struck his family. Joe's first wife, Nelia, and their 1-year-old daughter, Naomi, died in a car accident in 1972, leaving Joe devastated and caring for his 2 surviving sons, Hunter and Beau, who miraculously survived the crash. It was Joe's brother who introduced the future couple. As Jill recounted to Vogue, "I was a senior in college, and I had been dating guys in jeans and clogs and t-shirts. He came to the door, and he had a sport coat and loafers, and I thought, God, this is never going to work, not in a million years." Despite Joe being 9 years older than Jill, their connection was immediate and strong. "We went out to see A Man and a Woman at the movie theater in Philadelphia, and we really hit it off. When we came home, he shook my hand goodnight," she shared. "I went upstairs and called my mother at 1 a.m. and said, 'Mom, I finally met a gentleman.'" Jill Biden turned down Joe's proposal more than once. It's hard to imagine the Biden White House without Dr. Jill Biden as the First Lady. However, if Joe Biden hadn't been so persistent in wooing her, things might have turned out differently. In a piece she penned for Time, Jill explained that Joe's first proposal was quite low-key. "He simply said, 'I want us to get married,'" she wrote. The proposal had the blessing of Joe's sons, Beau and Hunter Biden, who were just 6 and 7 at the time. While Jill loved the boys who would become her stepsons, she wasn't ready to take the plunge. "If I gave Joe my whole heart, he had the power to break it," she confessed. Her fears of heartbreak and the pressure of being in the public eye as a politician's wife led her to reject Joe's second proposal and his third and fourth. Over time, though, her concerns shifted from her own heart to the well-being of Joe's children. "They had endured the loss of one mother already, and I couldn't risk having them lose another," she said. It was Joe's fifth proposal that finally broke through her reservations. He made it clear that it would be his last. "When Joe told me this was the last time he would ask, I was sure he meant it," she wrote. "He was prepared to walk away forever." Not wanting to lose the people she already regarded as family, Jill said yes. Their wedding took place on June 17, 1977, at the United Nations Chapel in New York City. It was a small, intimate ceremony with Beau and Hunter standing beside them, symbolizing the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. Jill embraced her role as a mother, creating a loving and stable environment for Joe's sons while continuing to pursue her own career and education. She doesn't think of herself as a stepmom. After Jill Biden fell in love with Joe and married him, she embraced her role as a stepmother to his two sons, Hunter and Beau. Despite not being their biological mother, Jill was always warmly accepted into the Biden family. In an interview with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, she explained that she never asked Hunter and Beau to call her mom. It was entirely their choice. "They wanted our family to be a whole, complete family," she said. If an interviewer ever referred to her as their stepmother, Hunter and Beau would quickly correct them. "That's how the kids wanted to define it," she added. Joe Biden also reflected on this transition in his 2007 memoir, Promises to Keep on Life and Politics. He noted that the change happened naturally over time. "We never discussed calling her mom," Joe wrote, "but one day I noticed they were calling her mom, while they referred to his first wife, Nelia, as mommy." Joe acknowledged the unique dynamic of their blended family, saying, "I'm sort of used to being in charge, but in truth it was Jill and the boys who shaped the contours of our remade family." She welcomed a daughter, Ashley, in 1981. When Jill Biden married Joe, she embraced her role as a mother to Hunter and Beau. On June 8, 1981, Jill also became a biological mother with the birth of her daughter, Ashley Biden. Ashley is Jill's first and only biological child, adding a new dynamic to their blended family. The Biden family's bond is incredibly close-knit, unaffected by the blended nature of its members. According to Jill, Ashley grew up very close to her older brothers, Hunter and Beau. "From the minute she was born, her brothers looked after her," she told Delaware Today, "and she always looked up to them. Wherever they went, she wanted to go, and they took her." The special bond between Ashley and her brothers was evident from the beginning. Joe Biden revealed in his book, Promises to Keep on Life and Politics, that Hunter and Bo were tasked with naming their baby sister, ultimately choosing the name Ashley. Jill Biden's life is teaching. Teaching isn't just what I do, it's who I am, Jill Biden tweeted in mid-August 2020. Her lifelong dedication to education underscores this sentiment, evident in her commitment to continue teaching even after her husband was elected president in November 2020. When asked about her plans to continue teaching, she expressed her enthusiasm to CBS News, saying, "I hope so. I would love to." Dr. Biden, who holds a bachelor's degree, 2 master's degrees, and a doctorate, has a rich educational background that supports her passion for teaching. She spent 13 years teaching in public schools, where she taught English and served as a reading specialist. Additionally, she taught at Delaware Technical and Community College and Northern Virginia Community College, maintaining her teaching role during her husband's tenure as vice president. Reflecting on her role in community colleges, she shared with the News Journal, "It might sound cliché to say I make a difference, but I genuinely believe that, especially in a community college setting, I can make a meaningful impact." She encouraged her husband to run for president in 2008. While Joe Biden's 2020 presidential campaign garnered significant attention, not everyone realizes it was his 3rd bid for the presidency. His first run was announced in 1987, followed by another attempt in 2007. Interestingly, it was Jill Biden who encouraged her husband to run for president the second time. After George W. Bush was re-elected in 2004, Jill was dismayed and urged Joe to enter the race. Reflecting on those years in an interview with Vogue, she recalled Joe's desire to run before the 2008 election and how others had also encouraged him to run in 2004. However, it was her strong conviction that pushed Joe forward. Confronted with the prospect of another 4 years under the same administration, she insisted that he needed to change this. While Joe ultimately withdrew from the 2008 election, his campaign was pivotal as he was later chosen as Barack Obama's running mate and went on to serve as vice president. She tried to stay incognito while her husband was VP. After her husband ascended to the vice presidency, Jill Biden made a deliberate choice to continue teaching without drawing undue attention to her identity. She maintained a low profile at Northern Virginia Community College, where she was affectionately known as Dr. B. To minimize disruption, Secret Service agents disguised as students accompanied her, ensuring security without disrupting her teaching routine. Beyond security concerns, Jill Biden's decision to maintain anonymity as the Second Lady was also driven by a desire to avoid being solely defined by her husband's political role. This inclination to maintain independence had roots dating back to Joe Biden's time as a senator. In an interview with the News Journal, she revealed that when students inquired about her last name, she acknowledged her relation to Joe but deliberately omitted any mention of being his wife. "For me, in that classroom, I'm their English teacher, and I prefer it to stay that way," she asserted. It took a while for Jill Biden to adjust to being in the public eye. Despite her extensive background in education, Jill Biden has never seen herself as a natural public speaker. Embracing speaking engagements was one of the challenges she faced as the Second Lady of the United States. In a 2010 interview with Marie Claire, Biden admitted that speaking in front of audiences didn't come easily to her, but she improved with practice over time. Transitioning from the role of a senator's wife to that of the vice president's wife was a significant adjustment for Biden. She described the shift as incremental, telling the Atlanta Journal-Constitution that she gradually acclimated to the heightened visibility and responsibilities. Recognizing the platform she had as Second Lady, Biden resolved not to squander the opportunity. Despite initial uncertainties and a lack of confidence in her speaking abilities, she decided to take the risk, eventually evolving into a confident and impactful speaker. She has survived personal tragedy with her husband. Tragically, Joe Biden's eldest son, Bo, passed away from brain cancer in January 2015 at the age of 46. Reflecting on this profound loss, Jill Biden expressed to the outlet, It was completely shattering. My life changed in an instant. Throughout his illness, I held on to the belief that he would survive, right up until he closed his eyes. I never lost hope. In her book, Where the Light Enters, Jill Biden further delved into the family's heartbreaking experience. I feel like a piece of china that's been carefully glued back together, she wrote about grappling with her grief. The cracks may not be visible, but they are there. The loss profoundly altered both her and her husband, yet they have found the strength to courageously move forward, holding on to hope for the future. She said that education would be an important part of her husband's administration. As Jill Biden shared with CBS News before her husband's election, "If we make it to the White House, I plan to keep teaching. It's crucial to me that people recognize the value of teachers, appreciate their contributions, and elevate the profession." She is actively involved with the National Education Association, which suggested Biden would likely advocate for tuition-free community college education if her husband won the election. Furthermore, in 2010, Biden spearheaded the White House Summit on Community Colleges to highlight the pivotal role of community colleges in shaping America's workforce, as detailed by the BBC. Her grandkids say she's a prankster. Jill Biden, despite her former role as Second Lady, has a playful side that might surprise many, as revealed by her granddaughter Natalie. In a video shown at the 2020 Democratic National Convention, Natalie affectionately described Biden as not your average grandmother, labeling her a prankster and noting her mischievous nature. According to Natalie, Biden is known to pull off tricks like placing a dead snake in a bag to later startle someone with it. Mary Duty, who worked alongside Biden at Delaware Technical Community College, recounted to the Philadelphia Inquirer an instance when Biden left a hefty 50-pound pumpkin on her desk as a prank. During her time as Second Lady, Biden gained a reputation for her playful antics. She once even hid in an overhead bin on Air Force Two to surprise Joe upon his boarding the plane. She is a best-selling author. In addition to her esteemed career in education, Jill Biden has found success as a best-selling author. She penned the acclaimed memoir, Where the Light Enters, Building a Family, Discovering Myself, which chronicles the personal journey of her family's growth and resilience. Alongside her memoir, Biden has authored children's books that reflect her deep patriotism, including Don't Forget God Bless Our Troops and Joey, the Story of Joe Biden. While her children's books celebrate themes of patriotism and family, Biden's memoir steers clear of politics, focusing instead on her personal narrative. In an interview with People, she described it as the story of how we built and rebuilt our family, highlighting the challenges and triumphs they faced together. The memoir also delves into Biden's ongoing struggle with grief following the heartbreaking loss of her son, Beau Biden. Reflecting on her profound loss, she wrote, "Sometimes I feel like I've forgotten how to be the mom after the death of my son. I worry about my children worrying about me, feeling like they need to be the strong ones. It's not the right order of things. How can I be there for my children when I feel so lost?" Despite her grief, Jill Biden remains steadfast in her commitment to nurturing her family and supporting her husband, striving to uphold her roles as a mother and wife with unwavering strength and love. She made headlines for fighting off protesters. Dr. Jill Biden's expertise extends beyond education to include a keen sense of self-defense. In the run-up to the 2020 presidential election, as tensions escalated, she demonstrated remarkable courage and protective instincts alongside her husband, then presidential candidate Joe Biden. During a rally in Los Angeles in March 2020, Dr. Biden positioned herself between Joe and protesters who rushed towards him. Alongside one of his advisors, she intervened swiftly, preventing the protesters from reaching her husband. This wasn't an isolated incident. Just a month earlier, Dr. Biden again stepped in to shield Joe from a man at another rally. Her actions drew praise from Joe Biden himself, who humorously remarked, I'm probably the only candidate running for president whose wife is my Secret Service. Whoa, you don't screw around with a Philly girl, I'll tell you what. During a subsequent rally, she became a FLOTUS to remember. Becoming the First Lady of the United States marked a significant full-circle moment for Jill Biden. Gone was the young woman who once feared the spotlight that came with being a senator's wife. As she reflected in time, Jill Biden gracefully embraced her role as FLOTUS, a journey that culminated in holding the family Bible while Joe was sworn in. According to the White House website, Biden immersed herself in her duties as First Lady, all while continuing her teaching career. In 2021, she traveled extensively across more than half of the states in the U.S., maintaining a visible presence as she played a crucial role in guiding the nation through the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic, advocating strongly for vaccination. Reflecting on her travels, she told Vogue, "During the campaign, people were filled with anxiety and fear. Now, as I travel around the country, I sense a collective sigh of relief. I believe part of the reason Joe was elected is because he brings a sense of calm. He lowers the temperature." Jill Biden's journey from apprehension to confidence in her public role reflects her deep commitment to service and her determination to make a positive impact as First Lady, both in her professional life as an educator and in her new role on the national stage. In her journey from teacher to First Lady, Jill Biden has exemplified resilience and dedication. Embracing her role with grace, she has navigated the complexities of public life while steadfastly continuing her work in education. As we celebrate her achievements and ongoing contributions, what aspect of Jill Biden's journey resonates most with you? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights into Jill Biden's inspiring transformation. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.